a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Aaliyah. Aaliyah Dana Horton was an American singer, actress, and model. She was born in Brooklyn, New York, and raised in Detroit, Michigan. At the age of 10, she appeared on the television show Star Search and performed in concert alongside Gladys Knight. At age 12, Aaliyah signed with Jive Records and her uncle Barry Hankeson's Blackground Records. Hankeson introduced her to R. Kelly, who became her mentor, as well as lead songwriter and producer of her debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. The album sold 3 million copies in the United States and was certified double platinum by the Recording Industry Association of America. After facing allegations of an illegal marriage with R. Kelly, Aaliyah ended her contract with Jive and signed with Atlantic Records. Aaliyah worked with record producers Timbaland and Missy Elliott for her second album, One in a Million, which sold 3 million copies in the United States and over 8 million copies worldwide. In 2000, Aaliyah appeared in her first film, Romeo Must Die. She contributed to the film's soundtrack, which spawned the single, Try Again. The song topped the Billboard Hot 100 solely on airplay, making Aaliyah the first artist in Billboard history to achieve this goal. Try Again earned Aaliyah a Grammy Award nomination for Best Female R&B Vocalist. After completing Romeo Must Die, Aaliyah filmed her role in Queen of the Damned. She released her third and final album, Aaliyah, in July 2001. On August 25, 2001, Aaliyah and 8 others were killed in a plane crash in the Bahamas after filming the music video for the single, Rock the Boat. The pilot, Luis Morales III, was unlicensed at the time of the accident, and toxicology tests revealed that he had traces of cocaine and alcohol in his system. Aaliyah's family later filed a wrongful death lawsuit against Black Hawk International Airways, which was settled out of court. Aaliyah's music has continued to achieve commercial success with several posthumous releases. Aaliyah has sold an estimated 24 to 32 million albums worldwide. She has been credited for helping redefine contemporary R&B, pop and hip-hop, earning her the nicknames Princess of R&B and Queen of Urban Pop. She is listed by Billboard as the 10th most successful female R&B artist of the past 25 years and 27th most successful R&B artist in history. Early life. Aaliyah Dana Horton was born on January 16, 1979, in Brooklyn, New York, and was the younger child of Diane and Michael Miguel Horton. She was African American and had Native American heritage from a grandmother. Her name has been described as a female version of the Arabic Ali. However, the original Arabic and Jewish name, Aliyah, derived from the Hebrew word Aliyah and meant highest, most exalted one, the best. Regardless of origin, the singer was highly fond of her Semitic name, expressing support by calling it beautiful and asserting that she was very proud of it, and she thus spent her entire life striving to live up to her name every day. At a young age, Aaliyah was enrolled in voice lessons by her mother. She started performing at weddings, church choir and charity events when she was 5 years old. Her family moved to Detroit, Michigan, where she was raised along with her older brother, Rashad. She attended a Catholic school, Jesu Elementary, where in first grade, she received a part in the stage play Annie. From then on, she was determined to become an entertainer. In Detroit, her father began working in the warehouse business, one of his brother-in-law Barry Hankeson's widening interests. Her mother stayed home and raised Aaliyah and her brother. Throughout her life, she had a good relationship with her brother, which traced back to their childhood, as Rashad reflected that growing up with Aaliyah was amazing. He recalled her running around their home singing and that never being annoying due to her having a beautiful voice. She and her brother became close with their cousin Jomo Hankeson. Since growing up, they lived about 5 blocks apart. Jomo walked Aaliyah and Rashad to their home from school when their mother was not able to pick them up, and recalled the Horton household being filled with music. Aaliyah's family was very close due to the struggles of her grandparents, and when the Hortons moved to Detroit, the Hankesons were ready to take them in if necessary. These same bonds led to ties in the music industry. Under the Blackground Records label, Aaliyah's mother was a vocalist, and her uncle, Barry Hankeson, was an entertainment lawyer who had been married to Gladys Knight. As a child, Aaliyah traveled with Knight and worked with an agent in New York to audition for commercials and television programs, including Family Matters. She went on to appear on Star Search at the age of 10. Aaliyah chose to begin auditioning while her mother made the decision to have her surname dropped. She auditioned for several record labels and at age 11 appeared in concerts alongside Knight. She had several pet animals during her childhood, which included ducks, snakes and iguanas. Her cousin Jomo had a pet alligator, which Aaliyah felt was too much, remarking, "That was something I wasn't going to stroke." Her grandmother died in 1991. Years after her death, Aaliyah said her grandmother supported everyone in the family and always wanted to hear her sing, as well as admitting that she spoiled her and her brother Rashad to death. She also enjoyed Aaliyah's singing and would have Aaliyah to sing for her. Aaliyah stated that she thought of her grandmother whenever she fell into depression. Aaliyah's hands reminded her of her aunt, who died when she was very young, and Aaliyah referred to her as an amazingly beautiful woman. Education. When she was growing up, Aaliyah attended Detroit schools and believed she was well liked, but got teased for her short stature. She recalled coming into her own prior to age 15 and grew to love her height. Her mother would tell her to be happy that she was small, and compliment her. Other children disliked Aaliyah, but she did not stay focused on them. "You always have to deal with people who are jealous. But there were so few it didn't even matter. The majority of kids supported me, which was wonderful. When it comes to dealing with negative people, I just let it in one ear and out the other. Those people were invisible to me." Even in her adult life, she considered herself small. She had learned to accept and love herself and added, "The most important thing is to think highly of yourself, because if you don't, no one else will." During her audition for acceptance to the Detroit High School for the Fine and Performing Arts, Aaliyah sang the song Ave Maria in its entirety in the Italian language. Aaliyah, who maintained a perfect 4.0 grade point average when graduating from Detroit High School for the Fine and Performing Arts, felt education was important. She saw fit to keep her grades up despite the pressures and time constraints brought on her during the early parts of her career. She labeled herself as a perfectionist, and recalled always being a good student. Aaliyah reflected, "I always wanted to maintain that. Even in high school when I first started to travel, I wanted to keep that 4.0. Being in the industry, I don't want kids to think I can just sing and forget about school. I think it's very important to have an education, and even more important to have something to fall back on." She did this in her own life, as she planned to fall back on another part of the entertainment industry. She believed that if she could teach music history or open her own school to teach that, or drama if she did not make a living as a recording artist, because, as she reasoned, when you pick a career it has to be something you love. 1991, 1995, age ain't nothing but a number. After Hankerson signed a distribution deal with Jive Records, he signed Aaliyah to his Blackground Records label at the age of 12. Hankerson later introduced her to recording artist and producer R. Kelly, who became Aaliyah's mentor, as well as lead songwriter and producer of her first album, which was recorded when she was 14. Aaliyah's debut album, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, was released under her mononym, Aaliyah, by Jive and Blackground Records on May 24, 1994. The album debuted at number 24 on the Billboard 200 chart, selling 74,000 copies in its first week. It ultimately peaked at number 18 on the Billboard 200 and sold over 3 million copies in the United States, where it was certified 2 times platinum by the RIAA. In Canada, the album sold over 50,000 copies and was certified gold by the CRIA. Aaliyah's debut single, Back and Forth, topped the Billboard Hot R&B/Hip Hop Songs chart for 3 weeks, and was certified gold by the RIAA. The second single, a cover of the Isley Brothers, At Your Best, peaked at number 6 on the Billboard Hot 100, and was also certified gold by the RIAA. The title track, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number, peaked at number 75 on the Hot 100. Additionally, she released The Thing I Like as part of the soundtrack to the 1994 film A Low Down Dirty Shame. Age Ain't Nothing But a Number received generally favorable reviews from music critics. Some writers noted that Aaliyah's silky vocals, and sultry voice, blended with Kelly's new jack swing, helped define R&B in the 1990s. Her sound was also compared to that of female quartet En Vogue. Christopher John Farley of Time magazine described the album as a beautifully restrained work, noting that Aaliyah's girlish, breathy vocals rode calmly on R. Kelly's rough beats. Stephen Thomas, early wine of AllMusic, felt that the album had its share of filler, but described the singles as slyly seductive. He also claimed that the songs on the album were frequently better than that of Kelly's second studio album, 12 Play. The single, At Your Best, was criticized by Billboard for being out of place on the album and for its length. 1996, 1999, One in a Million. In 1996, Aaliyah left Jive Records and signed with Atlantic Records. She worked with record producers Timbaland and Missy Elliott, who contributed to her second studio album, One in a Million. Missy Elliott recalled Timbaland and herself being nervous to work with Aaliyah, since Aaliyah had already released her successful debut album while Missy Elliott and Timbaland were just starting out. Missy Elliott also feared she would be a diva, but reflected that Aaliyah came in and was so warming. She made us immediately feel like family. The album yielded the single, If Your Girl Only Knew, which topped the Billboard Hot R&B/Hip Hop Songs for 2 weeks. It also generated the singles Hot Like Fire and 4-Page Letter. The following year, Aaliyah was featured on Timbaland and Magoo's debut single, Up Jumps the Boogie. One in a Million peaked at number 18 on the Billboard 200, selling 3 million copies in the United States and over 8 million copies worldwide. The album was certified double platinum by the RIAA on June 16, 1997, denoting shipments of 2 million copies. The month prior to One in a Million's release, on May 5, 1997, music publisher Windswept Pacific filed a lawsuit in U.S. District Court against Aaliyah, claiming she had illegally copied Bobby Caldwell's What You Won't Do for Love for the single, Age Ain't Nothing But a Number. Aaliyah attended the Detroit High School for the Fine and Performing Arts, where she majored in drama and graduated in 1997 with a 4.0 GPA. Aaliyah began her acting career that same year. She played herself in the police drama television series New York Undercover. During this time, Aaliyah participated in the Children's Benefit Concert, a charity concert that took place at the Beacon Theatre in New York. Aaliyah also became the spokesperson for Tommy Hilfiger Corporation. In 1997, Aaliyah performed the Christmas carol What Child Is This at the annual holiday special Christmas in Washington. She contributed on the soundtrack album for the Fox Animation Studios animated feature Anastasia, performing a cover version of Journey to the Past, which earned songwriters Lynn Ahrens and Stephen Flaherty a nomination for the Academy Award for Best Original Song. Aaliyah performed the song at the 1998 Academy Awards ceremony and became the youngest singer to perform at the event. The song, Are You That Somebody?, was featured on the Dr. Dolittle soundtrack, which earned Aaliyah her first Grammy Award nomination. The song peaked at number 21 on the Hot 100. Brought to you by Wikividi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?